What an odd interpretation it is to say that Christians who find solace in the fact that there's no such thing as a permanent or ultimate tragedy would only be doing so they can lack moral and rational responsibility for the here and now.
Don't worry, I come with receipts. We actually have a lot of data that shows that if you truly believe that Jesus is going to come and everything's going to be okay, that it reduces real world motivation to make this world better in the here and now. The thing with ethics is that you eventually have to choose between either two evils or two goods. That's why we all have a hierarchy of values. Eventually, you're forced to choose. So when it came to stem cell research, we had to choose what matters more, that these could be souls or that these could really change people's lives in the here and now. And Christians were more likely to choose not to encourage stem cell research. In 2017, we have a Pew study that shows that white evangelicals are the ones who are most likely to not agree that humans are affecting climate change, and they're the ones most resisting climate action. A significant number of that population believes that climate change doesn't matter because Jesus is coming. In 2020, the Oxford Journal of Politics and Religion said that people who believe that Jesus is coming vote less frequently in local and environmental initiatives. They oppose long-term government planning, including healthcare, infrastructure, and climate response, and they support policies that accelerate biblical prophecies, such as Middle East conflict. Less than a third of evangelicals say that justice for Palestinians is necessary for peace because most prioritize prophecy fulfillment. This isn't weird. Like, we just saw this happen with Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson talking about theology. And we know from extensive terror management studies that if you remind people that they're going to die, they are less concerned with material problems, with worldly problems. We know statistically they're going to be less concerned to fix problems like poverty, racial injustice, or ecological collapse. We know from a study in 2008 called The Conflict Between Evangelical Eschatology, Jesus coming again, and environmentalism, that if you believed that Jesus was coming, you were more likely to see suffering as a sign of the times rather than solvable issues that we should be solving. In the 1980s, when the U.S. Secretary of the Interior was James Watt, who was an evangelical Christian, he justified environmental deregulations by saying, "We don't have to protect the environment. The second coming is at hand." That is a direct quote. Now, does every Christian believe in the afterlife in this spiritual bypassing way and is less motivated to make things work? No, that's not every Christian. I know Christian people who really do wake up each day and every day and say, what can I do to be more like Jesus? Those people are very quiet nowadays in America, and it's a smaller percentage, but I do know people who genuinely wake up, who try to be the good Samaritan every day and flip tables of the institution and call out hypocrisy and sit with the marginalized. I do know Christians like that. But we do know that for the majority of Christians, and I have the data to show it, that if you really believe that Jesus is coming and is going to make it okay, even if you don't think that it's lowered your motivation, you are less motivated to do the things that we need to do to make this world work for everyone. It decreases your motivation for long-term problem solving if you really believe that this is the end days and all of this suffering was prophesied, all the stuff in the Middle East is prophesied. We just need to make sure that we're on the right team. That's the majority of what's happening here. And to the people who think that you can do both, we have a hierarchy of values for a reason. Eventually, you're going to have to make a decision on what your energy and attention is more focused on, the next life or this life. And the majority of Christians choose the next life. Because if the majority of Christians, let's just play this out. If the majority of Christians were focusing on improving life, improving the quality of experience, reducing suffering in this world now, if that was truly the case, humanism wouldn't exist. What would humanism have to do? That's why humanism exists, was because religions weren't doing that. So do I think all Christians are bad people? No. Do I think the majority of Christians stand in the way of long-term progress? I think we have the data to show yes.